Nick, that black yacht that rolled past you.
But I was like, man, Nick having enough fun for me too. And I said, I ain't mad at him, bro. I said, I ain't mad at him.
What can you say?
Locked up for a whole year.
Man, I was like, bro, that was the thing. It was like, I was like, man, I ain't done that in a minute.
Yeah.
Let me just go on this motherfucking trip.
I wasn't mad at you, man. I was like, shit.
Me neither. Hey, that black yacht that rolled past you though,
bro.
That shit was stupid.
That shit was all tinted too.
We lied, by the way. But yeah,
that was stupid. I watched that slide a couple times. Like that yacht right there. Yeah.
Did anybody fall off the boat?
No, we got close to it, bro. We got close to it. Niggas was, if it wasn't for the rails, it was a wrap. Niggas was gonna be man overboard early. Like, and only like 2/5 of us could swim.
I saw Will on that big ass, I think it's floating mattress or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
Nah, it was nice. It was nice. They was some good people.
It looked like it, man. Yeah. I wish that.
That was
we gotta do a dead end trip.
We will. All right.
I wish that everything was open. That's what I kept saying, man, we gotta go on a couple of road trips to see some games. But that'd be dope.
Yeah. I mean, that was the plan until,
Yeah. I was actually trying to see if I could go to a Heat game while I was there, but they was they didn't have any games that weekend.
We could go to a Detroit game because ain't nobody at them games.
They already quarantined.
Ain't nobody going to see. We can go to a Houston game or a Detroit game because ain't nobody want to go see.
This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Bienge. Joining me on the show, we got Nikki Duce.
What's going on? Mr. Miami himself, you feel me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Lord. We got Q. Q's in the house.
You know.
That's how we get. Damn, shit,
y'all know, man. Yeah, by this time. What's up, y'all?
And the man with the freshest haircut.
Hey, he got the Scully on, boy. He had to show him one time.
I knew it.
No, I couldn't find my hat.
Nah, that I wanted to wear because you got that clean.
You trying to show the waves off, boy? I know I was in Miami, but you swimming right now.
they gone.
Oh man! All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the show. We thank you guys for showing up. Please hit the like button and become a subscriber. And let's go, Nick.
Before we get into the NBA real quick, there was again, as the NFL draft is approaching, there was obviously going to be some trades going on, especially with this year being really good with QBs coming out in this year's draft. The draft is April 29th, so it's coming up. Like we got about a little over a month left. The 49ers made a big move.
They did.
They traded up from 12th in the first round to 3rd with Miami. They gave up a buttload of picks. Their 12th pick this year, I think a first round pick in 2022 and a 3rd round pick in 2023. And Miami, of course, has moved down to 12. So now you know that they're probably going to stick with Tua. They're not going to trade him out or try to do what Arizona did with Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. What's up? Oh, I thought you said something.
He did.
But yeah, I just want to get y'all thoughts on the trade as far as what the 49ers are potentially trying to do, which it looks like seems like they're trying to get a QB. They're done with Jimmy G. That experiment is over with. So which QBs coming out of this draft would be the best fit for San Fran?
I'll go first, and then I'll hand it over to Shelton. I know you guys are heavy into football. But I think Fields might be the guy. that they want, but I'm not an expert on what type of quarterbacks that what's his name, the coach Shanahan likes. So I don't know if he wants a statue white boy or running nigga. So it just it just depends, man.
Hey, what mixed quarterback is coming out this year? Is it Trey Lance? I don't know. You get a little bit, you get that
Yep.
little Patty Mahomes, a
For real.
little bit of
Yeah.
both.
Hey, you might see that's the
Those,
secret
hey,
sauce,
QBs,
man.
hey, head coaches look at them QBs like baby bear. Like
They
it's
sure
just
do.
right.
Like they've been breeded. But yeah, so one or the other. So I think it's the right move to just go ahead and move on from Jimmy. You got to the Super Bowl. I mean, so you got something out of it, whether it's through his play, his not play in terms of when they just ran the ball or whatever. You know, at the end of the day, you went. It didn't work out. He could make the throw, and Patty got you. So yeah, let's move on. So yeah, I think that's it. It's hot.
Well, for me, the smart move would be Fields. Um, I was hurt when they moved up because I honestly thought that it was going to be Carolina that would move up and take Justin Fields at that position. They talked about Trey Lance, but I'm thinking it's going to be Justin Fields that everybody's after, which they should be. I mean, he's a proven commodity, works hard. He's going to be a good quarterback. What you do is, if you're San Francisco, in my opinion, you draft Justin Fields, you keep Jimmy G, and you let him start because you know Jimmy G. He's got you to the Super Bowl. He can guide this team to another playoff berth, and with all the pieces coming back, they can go on a nice little run, and you get your quarterback time to rest and learn. I mean, to learn under someone, i.e., Patty Mahomes under Alex Smith. It's the same situation on a team that's proven and ready to go. And next year, he could take over the reins, and they won't miss a beat. So that's what I would think they would do. But now looking at it, Mac Jones seems to be the move that they. Everybody, I mean, he's a hot name right now that's out there, but that's what everybody's after right now. And you know how that go. Just like Zach Wilson shot up the board out of nowhere. Zach Wilson is supposed to be the great. He's the second best quarterback on the board according to everybody. Which I don't understand how this guy couldn't beat Coastal Carolina, but now he's the second best quarterback in college football. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. And I think complexion has a lot to do with quarterback evaluation. It
His
still
first
does.
name is Zach. Like that's all you need to know. Once you said Zach, that's
Unless you're talking about Snyder,
That's
it's a wrap.
Right.
I don't know too many black Zachs. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah, me either.
Nah. He's like I said, they both white quarterbacks have shot up the board, and we see it all the time. I mean, black quarterbacks dominate all year, but draft time comes and somehow they forget how to play the position evidently. So whatever.
Well, that's why I'm happy right now because I feel like I honestly would be more shocked if Justin Fields isn't picked at 3, at least top 3. Now that San Fran has moved up, it seems like the first 6 picks, 5 out of 6 are going to be QBs. Because I know the Bengals they're number 5, but they're probably going to hopefully they go for offensive lineman after the whole Joe Burrow situation. But and especially that kid out of Oregon, I think he should be right there. But everybody else seems like that. If you need a QB this year, this is the best time to get one. So if you're gonna move up, move up. I think Justin Fields will be the perfect QB selected for San Fran. Kyle Shanahan has actually done a lot with QBs that probably are more average than great. You got Matt Ryan. What's his name? You got Jimmy G. You also got RG3 that he was coaching his rookie year. He got him offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, he sure did.
So like he knows how to use a lot of different style QBs. Even with Kirk Cousins. So
Kirk Cousins too, yeah.
Yeah, so I he seems like he can do no wrong. So while I do believe he's looking at Justin Fields, because Justin Fields ran a 4.4 in his combine just today. Was it today or yesterday?
Yeah, like 4.45 or something like that.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So
fast one.
he's athletic as hell. I know Trey Lance is athletic too, but to me, Justin Fields is the best QB outside of Trevor Lawrence coming out of college football.
I would tend to agree with all y'all saying. I think that Kyle Shanahan can probably mold a QB like Justin Fields into semi what he would want in a Deshaun Watson, because what we understand from those tea leaves, a lot of people were saying that San Fran was interested, but obviously with what maybe we'll talk about, that's not going to happen. So perhaps the Justin Fields is like a very good compensatory prize. So we'll see what happens. But I understand exactly why they did this trade. They had to. Jimmy G can't make the throw, but he can get you to the dance, but he can't make the big one.
To me, when people giving Jimmy G too much credit, and I've been the Jimmy G hater since he got that first contract or that contract with San Fran, because I was just like, who the fuck
Yeah.
is this dude? Like, this dude really ain't that great, and we saw it on display in the Super Bowl. But he still got paid. He was still chalked up with all those wins that saying this motherfucker's a winner. He
Yeah,
led.
he has
He
some
ain't
good-
lead them to shit.
He
All
has
right,
some
that
good
defense.
analytics. You
That
can't deny
defense.
the analytics.
That defense
Yeah.
led that motherfucker. Once that nigga threw that interception in the Vikings playoff game, you ain't see that motherfucker throw again until the Super Bowl.
Pressure bust pipes. Pressure bust
I'm
pipes.
telling you. And then when he threw it
That's
again,
true.
what happened? He missed. And that's when I was like, all right.
Pipe bust.
That's true.
Water was
I mean,
squirting.
he definitely is a system QB. He definitely is a system product. I mean, guys like Shanahan, Belichick, they definitely have embellished his capabilities with just the thoroughness of their program and their creativity on offense to be able to get guys open. So, Jimmy, he was anointed because once again, what Sheldon's talking about, there is a racial undertone to it because on the same accord, Jacoby Jones, who did, if not more, to a better defense, doesn't get the same accord, what I mean, with the media. But Jimmy G gets to go be the system guy. I'm not even saying that they're equal players. It's just in the opportunity, once again, you get the guys to back up in the Colts. And one guy is going to be a coveted, hopefully a salvageable career for somebody else. Two different narratives because of the connotation behind what it means to be a system QB when you're white and you're black.
That's why Andy Dalton, QB1 with the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And hopefully we talk about that too. But that's just that don't make no sense at all. You couldn't even be QB1 anywhere else in the world. In college, if you went back. So how can you be the QB1 of an NFL team at this stage? It just doesn't make sense. We got a super chat real quick from Kaylin McCoy on that subject we were talking on just now. Appreciate you, Kaylin, as always, every week. Glad to see you here. QBs out of nowhere QBs out of nowhere don't pan out, which is true. These out of nowhere QBs, i.e. Daniel Jones, Daddy Dimes.
What, bruh? Chill out. This ain't, hey,
These
we in year
guys,
3, my guy. That's the
these
magic
guys,
number.
man, but for the most part, and somebody mentioned in the chat, they said other than Wentz and Allen, Josh Allen, those are the only two that,
No, you
panned
got
out.
Dak. Dak was
True.
Mississippi State.
Trubisky.
Trubisky did not pan out. Like we said,
Trubisky has a legit decent winning record. If you want to be frank, and he been to the playoffs twice.
And some people look better in the dark. But
no.
Hey.
Oh no.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I think finding a QB is probably the hardest. It is the hardest position probably in sports. Drafting a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You could draft it I think you could draft it any other sport, and it's easier because a quarterback, not only drafting a bad quarterback, sets your franchise back at least 5 years. Nowadays, maybe a little bit less, but it's at least 3 to 5 years. And then all that time. Obviously, look at Chicago. Chicago's wasted their defense for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Just completely wasted because of their QB selection.
Yeah.
And they probably could have won at least 2 Super Bowls by now.
And like we talked about, they could have done it with one of those system QBs even if you had taken, like you said, a Jacoby Brissett or some of those guys, they would have won more than
Tyrod Taylor
could have
took them further than any of them other QBs could have.
Correct. Because they control the offense and they don't commit turnovers. That's what they needed.
Why is Jameis not in Chicago right now?
That's the mystery too. I don't get the Jameis thing at all. I don't get that at all.
They ain't got crab legs in Chicago.
Shit, they got some bomb ass crab legs.
Oh man, crab legs and chicken wings.
Speaking of Tyrod Taylor, before we move on to the NBA,
hey, quick, hold on 1 second. We do have another super chat from We Them Boys, Nick.
All right,
and he want to know will we stream during the first round of the NFL draft? We did that last year, so I'm pretty sure we'll do it again this year, huh? Yeah, we did last year.
I think we did it virtually.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did it from home.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole bunch of Denzel Kuipers. It's gonna be great.
He said did say.
We had a pretty good time doing the draft last year.
All right, we can talk about it. I'm open to it.
You said we're gonna have a bunch of Todd McKnights.
That's a fact. That's
Oh
a fact.
man,
We'll see. I'm down for it. We'll see.
we look back at if y'all watching, get a chance, go back and look at the show from last year. That was a good show. I appreciate. I had a good time doing and watching that show.
Talk about everybody.
Yeah, shit.
I tend to look back at stuff like that, see where we were and how off and on we were.
Analysis, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of someone, I don't know if this nigga is on or off as far as the team yet. Deshaun Watson, boy.
He done. It's over.
I was gonna ask, is he done in the NFL?
It's over. Everything about him is done, bro. Everything about him is done.
It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be real. I don't think he's done. I think that he's gonna have a nice long suspension, but I think he'll resurface. He's got too much talent. And the only way he'll be done is if they, somehow criminal charges come about.
I don't even want to touch it, man, because it's like, I got it. Y'all press the button, and you can't go back. And it's really bad for him right now. It's bad for him.
I read some articles.
You read some more stuff? I stopped reading, man.
I read the one that SI put out. It's bad, man.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Nah,
it's bad. And she didn't even. She's not even one of the people that filed like a lawsuit against him. She said the dude was humping the air and shit, like on the sitting on the crowd and on the table and shit like that, just humping the air out of nowhere.
I'm like
Deshaun.
I'm thinking like does he got a doppelganger or some shit? Like
I don't know.
Not a doppelganger.
No,
this thing, I'm just thinking like, bro, out of all this time, I'm like, bro, you've been doing this.
Sean Dotson.
Somebody said this is getting more scandalous than trapped in the closet, and it's like for real, bro. This is like trapped. This is like trapped in the spa, bro. This shit is crazy.
Oh wow,
this shit is insane.
It's bad, man.
It's bad.
Dang,
this man should never get another massage in his life. Period.
Now he'll get one if these criminal charges lock up, boy. He gonna get touched for real. No, I'm just saying, bro. Like you the probably the biggest name in Houston. You would think, like, bro, you don't have to go through these methods. At least that's just me rationally thinking about some shit. I guess not.
It's I mean, there's a lot to to come for this. There's still facts to be released. They still got to go through the civil trial or whatever.
You know what? This is the Mike still on deep dive. This is not the dead end sports. Like this is like this is so many layers right here, man. There's like psychology to this. There's like power dynamic to this. There's like just a male privilege to this, as people say. There's a class privilege. Like it's a whole bunch of layers, man. And
there's gonna be a 30 for 30
organization too.
It is
real.
Hey, the crazy thing about this is how far his star fell. Like this guy came from he was the king. He was the cream of the crop. All we talked about was how clean cut his image was and how every team would be clamoring for this guy. And here we are now, less than 2 weeks later, and I don't think anybody would touch it with a 10-foot pole at this point. So that's just crazy how far you fall. I
don't think the masseuses didn't want to touch the nigga either. So shit.
Right. We got a super chat. Tigolo Kane, what's up, Tigolo? Tigolo said, "What's more grimy, Watson or Geis?"
Man, I don't even know what Geis did. So the fact that I
don't
don't
know what Geis did either.
he probably did worse. The fact that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what you got to inform us about that.
What did Darius Geis do? Enlighten all of us, because I don't even know what he did.
Probably.
I know he got suspended, but I know he released, but I don't know what he did.
I can't remember.
Thoughts to the survivors too. I don't want us to come across as insensitive. I want us to be real about that. So.
Yeah, it's messed up. He took advantage of them like that, man. But
I hope it all sorts itself out at this point, because the commentary surrounding it is just mute for me now. Where it's like, all right, what did this what did he do?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I just need that. That's the only thing I'm missing.
Yeah, that's why my whole stance just kind of evolved. And the last thing I read, I'm like, God damn, bro. Like it's so much. that's packed into this. So whatever the outcome is, one thing I know is that I just think he's done. Now I know there's been a lot of conversations about talent in the NFL and if you're talented enough, it'll supersede all that or whatever.
Not these days.
This one, I don't know about that. And then of course you add in, like you said, you start to add in the color of his skin. You add in his violent exit from Texas, like a lot of things. He has a lot of things going against him, and you showing out and you talking negatively like that about the organization you're trying to get out, and then this happened. Everybody like, okay, wait a minute, bro.
Yeah, I think if this was like drugs, maybe you get over like he can talent, but once it's dealing with,
they don't care about that. They used to
yeah,
because
like people who are addicted to drugs or people who are whatever, they actually want the drug at the time. The women, they don't want that, so it's like already.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's some predatory shit.
Yeah, drugs are you. If you that's just you hurting yourself. This
that's
is
also trauma too. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean.
All right, let's move on to the NBA. You guys recapped the NBA trade deadline stuff on last Thursday. Jeannie Buss has some quotes and perspectives. Speaking with Stephen A. on Steve, what is it? I don't even call it ESPN. That's Stephen A.'s world. Whatever the fucking show. That's basically ESPN. But she was talking to Stephen A. about the Brooklyn Nets and the moves they made to acquire the talent that they got now, and she was saying it brings out the best in us as far as the Lakers. When teams identify us as the team to beat and they gear up to go at us head to head, that makes us work harder. And she ended the quote like most white women do. So bring it on. That's how white women. When a white woman say bring it on, it's a wrap.
You might be in trouble, boy. You better look out.
So with that being said, what do y'all think about? I guess we've now starting to get more look as far as this team as a collective, and then what the healthy Lakers, since we're not going to count what they are now, but when they're healthy, is it basically a wrap? Is it over? As far as Brooklyn, is it? Should we just give them the title?
Hell no. Nothing is over. We've learned this in Cam Newton's MVP season. That going into the Super Bowl is not a foregone conclusion. We learned that the Warriors going up against the Raptors is not a foregone conclusion. And things can happen, unforeseen events, unforeseen the fact that Steve Nash actually has to coach. And I'll say it right here. Shout out to the Heat fans in the chat, because I won't be shocked at all if we see Brooklyn dribbling out the clock down 5 points in a crucial game 6 loss to Miami, going back to Miami for a game 7. And I don't think that is a future that a lot of people want to deal with, because they just look they're just seeing LaMarcus Aldridge, just seeing Blake Griffin. But the real NBA fans, the people who really watch the game, I feel like they understand that this team is very beatable. They're not invincible, but they're very beatable.
They have some of the most fragile minded players on that team. LA, Blake Griffin. Kyrie has had his moments, but Kyrie's a baller. KD's a baller, but we know what happened with KD.
Shit, even with today.
James Harden as well is the baller, but we see, his past is what it is. Adversity. There are only 2 on that team I know that have legit dealt with real adversity, in the moment adversity. Kyrie with the shot, and KD, of course, with a couple of shots, in the finals with LeBron. Granted, he had a lot of people with him, but nevertheless, those games were tight. And he handled his business. The rest of those guys, man, this the Lakers that had Karl Malone and what was it, Gary Payton and all them guys.
Yeah, they had everybody.
Yeah, it could very well be that. And I think for me, Blake Griffin already clapping back. You ain't dunked in 2 years. Why are you responding to people criticizing you when you played like you weren't shit? And now you mad? Come on, bro. Whether it's fair or not, it's now all of a sudden you want to talk because you're on a team that has a chance of winning a title. That's a lot of mouths to feed, man. LA talking about he can help with defense, with switching and stuff like that. It's like, what do you do when Drummond elbows you in the head or Bam Adebayo hip check you and some shit like that? He don't respond well to that shit. So, and then you got Steve Nash of all people, who couldn't get past the Spurs. Let's talk about his playing career. Great, but had a cap to it. So there's a lot on this team, and it's like I've been up and down with Brooklyn. There are times when I'm like, damn, man, they look like they're gonna do it, and then they go do all this. Sometimes it's just too much shit.
It's too much. Mm-hmm. You're right. You create a circus atmosphere, and it's sometimes harder, And I said it before when we were talking on that episode. Sometimes it's better not to add these major pieces in their minds anyway, because they don't have major games. You need role players. You need players to come in there and fill a void and fill a role, and who would know their role and do their jobs. In some cases, a Jared Dudley is more valuable than a Blake Griffin because he understands his role. He gets what he's supposed to do. He knows how to go out there and give you a good 20 minutes and get you 4 assists, 4 rebounds, you know what I'm saying, and a couple points and be okay. That's what's important. That's what you need when you got 3 superstars. You don't surround them with has-been superstars. You surround them with great role players who can come in and hold their spot down when they're on the bench. So that sometimes, like you said, you can put too many pieces in a room.
But how do you I don't see how you could poo-poo has-been superstars, because those most likely turn into great role players. I mean, well, let's not say superstars, let's say all-stars at least. Like, you got Andre Iguodala, right? He was a dog in Philly. Q could talk about it. He was a dog in Philly. You know what I'm saying? They try to dub him AI, but he saw most of his success as a role player, as far as NBA success. Who else do we got? Like, there's a bunch of examples. I think what I'll say is this: I do agree with Q. They are beatable. They're not unstoppable. To me, the Miami teams, the Golden State Warrior teams, those are a little bit more God tier level for me. This one is just more of like, I'm only saying, is it a wrap for the NBA? Because it's just like, as I look at everyone else, it's hard to find a team that's as healthy as they are, even though KD is, he's the only one really nicked and tucked, but they don't really need KD.
Are they healthy?
I don't think they really need KD, but I'd say they're the most healthiest.
They need KD.
They're gonna need KD.
They're going to need KD.
They absolutely need KD. Because if you only have Kyrie and James, this is what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to make Steve Nash coach, and in a span of 2 weeks, or 10 days for a 7-game series against one coach who's really good. I'm pointing out the Spoelstras of the world, like the Nick Nurses of the world, because obviously Toronto's not going to make it, but that kind of coach and that kind of mind is very antagonistic to the type of team that Brooklyn has. It's very, very, very it's very dependent on the creation of James Harden. It's very dependent on that pick and roll. And if you can stop the pick and roll, if you can force James Harden into, his second read, his third read, and you make Kyrie, like I've been saying, into that guy, because, bro, there's no telling what KD's going to look like in the playoffs. Like, he's got a hamstring coming off an Achilles that he repaired just a year ago. And people just penciling in this team like, you're not going to have to see Bam, Oladipo, Butler, like one of the best defense. You got to see Embiid, Simmons. These are teams that are going to make you work. And Steve Nash is going to have to organize these names. This is not just about their talent. They're all incredibly talented. But Steve Nash having to organize these people to do what they have to do, I don't know if he can do that.
That's the reason why I say they're beatable. Is because of the coach. If it was like, who's the guy who was the Toronto coach that got fired before Nick Nurse?
He's in Detroit.
Dwayne Casey.
Yeah. If they had someone like at least him, or even a Mike Woodson, I would have more confidence in this team. But Steve Nash is unproven. To me, the playoffs is all about coaching more than talent. And we saw that with Brett Brown with Philly. Like, we're hoping that Doc Rivers can take Philly further because of coaching.
Continuity, man. Continuity.
Hey, shout out to Mike Woodson, by the way, because he just got the Indiana job.
Yeah, that's his alma mater too. But yeah,
but I don't. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's Steve Nash for me. Like, I think when I say they don't need KD, I'm just talking about to get to the out of the East. I don't think they need KD to get out of the East. The finals, they probably will need his presence, obviously, because LeBron is going to be probably too daunting, and AD, we'll see what he turns up to be. But I just think that just to get out the East, from what I've seen, they got enough talent.
They
And that
can
take
do
them
it, but
over.
but it's gonna be difficult if Joel Embiid comes back and plays like he can play, and then you still got Milwaukee.
Giannis.
You got teams. You got teams out there that can beat that monster. But back to what we were talking about earlier too, those there's not very many guys that are all-star level who settle nicely into those roles. And also, it's a thing of knowing